My name's Andy Buchell. I'm Global Portfolio Team Director for Diovan, X-Forge and Lotrel. That's three medicines, the leading medicines in the world actually for high blood pressure. So I work as the global team leader developing development projects right across the globe with these three projects. So in terms of running development projects, my job really involves actually making these medicines more valuable for patients. So what I have to do is make sure that across our global team we're looking to develop new indications, new formulations, and new ways of using the medicines that make a big difference for patients' lives. And of course that difference then translates into more value for the patient and more value for the company in terms of the medicine's commercial value. Typical day doesn't exist. So my day is so varied it's just untrue. The only thing that's more or less similar is when you're working across different time zones. So I do a lot of work with Japan, China. That kind of work begins very early in the morning, so because of the time difference. I find I'm spending a lot of the mornings working with Europe and with Basel in particular, and then in the afternoons the focus shifts across the US until Japan and China come online again around 10 p.m. So that's the only thing that's a kind of pattern. In terms of differences and variability, there's loads of variability in the job, huge. No 2 days are exactly the same. You have a lot of variability of topic, because I could be working on a clinical issue one day, a manufacturing issue the next day. I could be talking about toxicology or a regulatory issue. So all of these things are very different in terms of the topic and the subject, but also in terms of the location. So for example, in the last 6 months I've been in Beijing having strategic discussions with the China team around how we should actually develop these medicines for use in China. How do we access proper medical care for rural communities in China, those types of topics. Next month after that I was in Japan talking with the government about the approval of one of our products. So you can be traveling around a lot. I've spent a lot of time in Basel, and I spend, of course, most of my time based here in the US. So high school, I decided to study science. So I'm a chemist by background, and I took chemistry through high school, first degree, and then to PhD. However, my journey through my career has been very atypical. After finishing my PhD, I moved into sales. So I went from scientific, basic science, about as far away as you could go, into the sales environment. I really enjoyed and learned a lot from that. But I missed the science. So I came back into clinical research. One of the great things about working in this industry is that you can work in so many different disciplines based on a science degree. So I came back into clinical research, worked a little bit through project management, team leadership, and then I decided we would like to actually get some experience of living in different countries. So that's the point where things really started exploding in terms of learning. We moved from the UK to Spain, where I worked in marketing and in clinical operations for 2 years in preparation to go and live in Latin America and work across Latin America looking after clinical research. So that was a great opportunity. I learned Spanish, I worked in Spanish even though I didn't speak Spanish before I moved to the country. Lots of fun stuff, a fantastic opportunity to learn about people, cultures, to build on all the other stuff that I was already learning in terms of working with global teams all around the world. So living abroad is a really great way of learning, not just about the place that you're living, but about yourself. So the aha moment about living abroad really is that you shouldn't assume, when you're working with people from other places in the world, you shouldn't assume that you know what's the best way to do anything. And that's really one aha moment. I guess another aha moment out of my career has been never take a job that you don't care about, because passion and the passion and skills together are really the most powerful combination when you're looking to do anything in life, including work and jobs. So never take a job that you don't care about, because if you don't care about the job, you're not going to do as good a job as you could do, and that's likely to get you stuck in that job. So that can be inhibitory to your career. And then the last piece, last aha moment would be, I guess, expect the unexpected. So in life, you never know quite where things are going to end up. In high school, I didn't know that I would be living in Spain and then the US, and who knows where else I'll end up living. I didn't know that I would be working around the globe, working with Japan and China, but it's turned out to be fantastic. And so you don't need to be able to predict everything. You should rather be able to expect the unexpected, and with your building skills as an individual and the passion that you bring to what you're doing, you can deal with all sorts of things that might come up and be unexpected changes and make them into opportunities. So I think in general, the realities of the jobs have been similar to what I expected. But of course, you can't really say that you can expect everything out of a job and get it right the first time, because the reality of any job depends on a lot of things. It depends on the local work environment, who your boss is, depends on the culture of the place that you're working, but it also depends a lot on external factors, which of course most companies don't have full control of external factors. The economic climate that we're recently experiencing, for example, has a major impact on companies, and that has a major impact on employees. So some of these things are external and some of these things are internal, and both of them affect the reality of any given job at any given time. So again, for me, I think the key thing in terms of reality versus expectations is to research